Daydreamers, this is Jade, and I'm back with another TV journaling episode. And as you can see, I am chronicling the show and with an E. Now, I have made a decision to actually split up this book. I was going to do TV and movies in the same journal, but I think that I want to keep this dedicated to the TV series I managed to get through during the month, and then have one dedicated to the movies that I either go see in the movies and the ones that I decide to watch while I'm at home during the month of whenever. This is actually in January. I'm finally starting January, and I really need to get caught up because we're in March now. So, yeah. But anyway, this one is Chronicling and with an E. I absolutely adored this series. Unfortunately, this was the last season, which is the third season. Now, Netflix, this show, to my knowledge, actually aired on another channel. I'm not sure which. PBS, the BBC, I don't know. I can't remember. And then Netflix got the rights to it to air it like a few weeks after it aired on the channel that it came on, which I'm glad of because I absolutely adore this series. I've been a fan of Anne Shirley Cuthbert since I was a preteen. I think my aunt sent me the books when I was a kid, and it's funny because I kind of let them sit there for a while, just eyeing them. I guess the covers didn't compel me to them. Yes, I was that kid. I was that the covers not that interesting kid. Anyway, um, I think finally I ran out of things to read and cracked those books open, and I have been enchanted ever since. I mean, from her story all the way to the story of her children. Absolutely loved this series, read it more than once, and I've seen different iterations of it. I really enjoyed this one. And of course, the original. Well, I don't know if it's the original. One of the original and with the knee movies. Loved it or whatever. So yeah, here I'm just getting down the information, and as you guys know, I like to do an initial placement of where I want the pictures and stuff to go, and then do a small bit of glue so I can pull up and tuck and add things and decorate around it here and there. Anyway, I feel like and with an E or any I I have noticed that I have been drawn to misfit redheaded characters pretty much all my life. And I don't know why that is. It's just something about them. So, like Anne Shirley Cuthbert, um, Pippi Longstocking, absolutely adore her. Even when I got a little bit older and I was in maybe my early to mid teens, I discovered Lucille Ball. And I mean, I loved her so much, I ended up doing a report on her in eighth grade or something. So, just like the unconventional, different, redheaded people. I don't know why that is. Like, I feel like maybe because I identified with them in some capacity. Like, I just didn't always feel like I actually fit in with everything or whatever. And so I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I've always been drawn to those type of characters. And so yeah, Anne Shirley is no different. Absolutely love her. I love she's so like me. She is the ultimate daydreamer. She is the ultimate fantasizer. But what I love about Anne is that she lives in her head a lot. But Anne, she craves um, human relationships. And even though she doesn't quite fit in at first when she gets there, when she is kind of mistakenly adopted, I guess I should say, on Prince Edward Island, she pretty much ends up endearing herself to everyone around, and people absolutely love her. So she finds her own place or carves out her own place in her new home, which is absolutely wonderful. Absolutely love Anne. She is just, I don't know. Her imagination is ridiculous. Like, and I've always had an imagination like that myself. So I can absolutely relate to her. I have always lived in my head since I mean I can't even remember when I have not lived in my head. I guess I should say. So I definitely relate to Anne on that level as well. And so, love books, all that kind of stuff. So, you guys know this already. Anyway, absolutely love this iteration of Anne with an E. Marilla and Matthew, they end up adopting her. Of course, those of you who are familiar with the story know that already. Um, and then she has this thing about kindred spirits, which is this quote that says, "Kindred spirits are not so scarce as I used to think." And like I said, she pretty much ends up endearing herself to everybody in town. She, of course, makes best friends with Diana, and she calls that her bosom buddy. And then I love that in this season, she meets a new friend. Her name is Coquette, and her family, and they are natives, and she's like doing a story on them or something. So yeah, and then of course her and Gilbert, I mean, they started off rocky, but then they became good friends or whatever, and then they become more than friends, and then we see that. And then of course Miss Stacy, the kids in her class, and then also I love the new character. I don't remember him in the books, but there's a character that shows up with Gilbert in the second season. His name is Sebastian. And actually, Sebastian's story is kind of it's it's loving. It's both loving and tragic. He comes to Prince Edward Island, and he actually ends up falling in love with this woman, and so they end up getting married and having a child in the third season. But then she ends up passing away because of, she cut herself or something, and then it wasn't treated, and so she got infected. It was a mess. um but just I just love this iteration of Anne. There were people online complaining, "Oh, it's not the original Anne. I don't want to watch it." Okay, well, fine. Don't watch it. You're missing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to stop doing that. We got to start giving things a chance. I could see if they watched the first 2 or 3 episodes and decided, okay, this is not for me. But just to say, oh, it's not the original, so I'm not going to watch it, is a little ridiculous to me. Once we get a little bit older, we have to be more open minded about stuff. So, yeah, love this iteration. And of course, finally, her and Gilbert get together, which, of course, if you've read the books or seen the other, you know, versions of this, you know, is inevitable. It happens or whatever. And I just love their relationship. Of course, it starts off a bit rocky, as we know, since she slams what, a tablet over his head or something, a chalkboard, because he calls her carrots. But I think it was one of those, you know how they, you know, say the boys tease you if they like you type of things or whatever. Stop doing that, boys. Just say, hey, I'm kind of digging you, you know. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so let's just wrap this up here. I am going to finish up decorating these pages and writing and doing all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you haven't watched this version of Anne of Green Gables, I would, and you're a fan of it, I would give it a go. At least watch a few episodes and decide whether or not you like it or not. So yeah, that is pretty much it. If you have any comments or questions about anything, you can leave those below. Um, of course, any materials that I use, and you guys, just so you know, I usually pull out like a lot of washi and my sticker books. So that's mainly what I'm using for these little spreads or whatever. So, but whatever I can list below will be in the description box. If you have any comments or questions about anything, leave those below as well. And yeah, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, liking, and sharing, all of that. If you're new here, consider doing the same, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. And that is going to be it for me for this one. I'm going to let the music play, and I hope that you all have a fantastic week. Talk to you later. Bye. Little did I dream, oh,